Having the courage to be disliked will transform your life. What if I told you that the biggest breakthrough of your life won't come from achieving more, but from caring less? Less about what others think, less about pleasing everyone, and more about being yourself, fully, authentically, even if it means being disliked. Now, this might sound strange. After all, most of us have been taught, directly or indirectly, to seek approval. From our elders, our teachers, our boss, or even our friends. But what if, and stick with me here, chasing that approval is the very thing that's holding you back? In today's video, we're delving into one of the lesser-known theories of psychology from the early 20th century, from the era of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. Except, you could argue, more actionable and even more transformative. It comes from a book that shook Japan, sold millions of copies, and inspired readers from all over the world to finally break free from the invisible chains of people-pleasing. The book, The Courage to be Disliked, by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitaka Koga. And no, this isn't just another self-help book telling you to just be confident. The book is based on the often overlooked psychological teachings of Alfred Adler, a contemporary of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, whose ideas were, in many ways, far ahead of his time. Adlerian theory. Adler believed in something radical. While Freud emphasized the role of trauma and Jung talked about the collective unconscious, Adler focused on what people choose to do with their experiences. He believed that we're not determined by our past, but by the meaning we give to it. This idea forms the core of the book. You're not a victim of your circumstances, you are responsible for your own life. The control is in your hands. It's all about seizing it. But if that's true, why do so many of us feel trapped? Well, let's be honest. Most of us walk around with an invisible audience in our heads. We filter everything we do through a single lens. What do they think of me? Well, here's the interesting part. This obsession with being liked, it's one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Afraid to speak up, afraid to fail, afraid to live their truth. But before we explore Adlerian theory in more detail, I want to thank today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that makes it easier to start working with a therapist. You fill out a short questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. If it's not the right fit, you can easily switch therapists at no extra cost. A therapist won't just listen. They'll help you see things from a new perspective and guide you toward real, actionable change. And with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform people trust. So if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed lately, and let's be honest, who hasn't, consider giving therapy a try. You can get 10% off your first month by clicking the link in the description or going to betterhelp.com/improvementpill. Idea number 1. They don't care as much as you think. The courage to be disliked reminds us of one liberating idea. The world is simpler than you think. Most of us overestimate how much people are thinking about us. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. It's the idea where we believe we're constantly being watched, judged, and evaluated. But research shows the opposite. In fact, a study from Cornell University found that people consistently overestimate how much others notice their actions, their clothes, even their mistakes. The takeaway? Well, most people are just too busy thinking about themselves to think that much about you. Idea number 2, separation of tasks. This concept is one of the most powerful teachings you can learn, and it answers one simple question. Whose life am I trying to live? Adler said that most of our worries come from trying to control things that aren't our responsibility. Other people's opinions? Not your business. Someone doesn't like you? Not your business. Even when someone takes the advice you gave them or not, none of your business. The only thing that is your business is how you live. Your thoughts, your behavior, your attitude. And when you finally stop trying to control others, you free up the time and energy to focus on yourself. Now imagine this. You want to be a writer. Your parents want you to be an engineer. If you choose writing, this might disappoint them. But here's the underlying truth. It is not your business to manage their disappointment. It is your business to live authentically. Now, this doesn't mean being reckless. It just means being honest with yourself and with the people around you. Because when you blur what is your business and what isn't, trying to make everyone happy, you end up living a life that isn't yours. Idea number 3, social interest is the key to meaning. Adler didn't believe in selfish success. He believed in true happiness coming from what he called social interest, the desire to contribute to the community, to live in harmony with others. Now, it might sound contradictory to being disliked, but it's not. And here's why. Now, you don't need to be liked by everyone to contribute to the world. You just need to show up, honestly. And that honesty, that integrity, that's what helps others most. Now, comparing yourself to others only results in a win-lose outcome, whereas existing to help and seeing others as equal to a win-win. There's enough space in the world for all us to succeed. And by supporting others, you put out positive energy to then succeed in your own authentic way. Think of your favorite artists, creators, or leaders. They were probably disliked by some, but their courage to be authentically themselves is what made them valuable. They saw others doing similar to what they wanted to do, and they did it anyway. Being disliked? It's not a bad thing. It often means you're doing something right. And lastly, take action. So how do you start living this way? Well, here are a few practical tips to get you started. Number 1, ask yourself before you do anything, whose business is this? Next time you're worrying about something, pause. Ask, is this my business? If it's someone else's opinion or reaction, you can let it go. Number 2, small acts of authenticity. Now, you don't have to overhaul your life in one day. In fact, that's just a plan for disaster. Start with wearing what you like. Speak up in a class or a meeting, and say no to something you don't want to do. Each small step builds up your courage. And number 3, accept that you will be disliked. Look, not everyone will like you, and that is okay. In fact, it's necessary, because if everyone liked you, you're probably not being real. The people who matter, they respect those who are true to themselves, even if they don't always agree. And if it wasn't enough for you, there's scientific research to back up living authentically too. A study published in 2016 found that people who behave authentically experience greater feelings of well-being, less overall anxiety, and form stronger relationships with others. Why is that? Well, because authenticity attracts the right people and repels the wrong people. So let's recap. You don't need universal approval. You're not responsible for other people's reactions. True happiness comes from living authentically and contributing from a place of truth. And being disliked is not a failure. It's a sign that you're doing something right. The courage to be disliked is really the courage to be yourself. Unfiltered, unmasked, unapologetic. So if you've been finding yourself living to please others, worrying excessively about how you might be judged, or hesitant to do the things that make you most happy, just remember this. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need the courage to like yourself. And as ever, stay tuned for the next one.